In this lesson, we'll start creating the lights. So I will go to light tab and I will click on point light and I will hit enter and place the light somewhere in the viewport, and let's move that up. As you see, the viewport is slowing down, so I can click here to disable all the lights and I will disable and I will place the light. So now it's faster because the viewport is not calculating the light now. Okay, so let's set that here and let's copy and paste that. So I will hit Ctrl and C on the keyboard and Ctrl and V. So I created the second light. I will move the second light somewhere here, somewhere up. Okay, and let's go to the camera and let's go to the render view and see if we get some lights. Okay, great. And if you hold shift on the keyboard and left mouse and drag, now you are creating a rectangle, a region for rendering. So now Houdini just will render this region. Okay, this is faster, so you don't have to render everything here. Okay, so if you clicked left mouse click any place in the renderer, sorry, if you hold shift and click one click here, so you are moving the rectangle. Okay, so let's drag that here and see. Okay, and I will go to the first light and I can increase the light a little bit here, and I can change the color of the light, some warm color. I want to give that some warm color because we have fire here, right? Okay, and for the second light, I think I will decrease that a little bit. Okay. Okay, great. So now let's see the shading. So if I go to material palette, you see here created by Houdini. When we created the fire, this material created by Houdini. If you don't see that, you can create one from here. Okay. And this flame material assigned to the pyro import node. So if you select that and come to render, and you will see the flame material assigned here. Okay, and let's go to the material palette and select that, and let's take a look at some attributes here. So let's drag a rectangle again here, or let's move the time slider a little bit more here so we can see more fire and more smoke in the renderer. Okay, so let's drag a rectangle here. I am holding shift and left mouse drag. Okay, so here you see the density scale. Okay, and before I start playing with the density scale, I think I need to move the light a little bit toward us. So I will go to the viewport and let's see here, where is our light? This is our light. So I will move that here and move it up a little bit. Okay, somewhere here. And let's go back in the camera one and I will hit render again and see. And let's go back to the object and let's select the second light and I will increase the intensity of that light. Okay. Okay, it's better now. And let's go to the material palette and let's select the flame. And here you see the density scale. If you set this one, for example, to 4, you will have more dense smoke as you see. Okay. And let's leave that to 0.03. And the smoke brightness, if you increase that, for example, let's set that to 4 and see what's happening. Now you see I have brighter smoke. Okay, and here the smoke color, you can change the smoke color. You can set it red or any color you want. Okay, so I will leave it at white, and I will decrease the brightness because I don't need that to be too bright. For example, 1. Okay, and this is the fire. This tab controls the shape of the fire. So if you set this one, the intensity scale, for example, to 10, you will have stronger fire. As you see, it's too strong. Let's leave that to, let's set that to 2, or for example, okay? And this is the temperature scale. If you set this one to, for example, 1, you will have more temperature, okay? As you see, it's too high. Let's leave it back to 0.25. And here you can control the color of the fire, okay? So I can move that here, and I can click here to add another palette. So I will double click and I can make that red. As you see, I can click here again and double click on that and make it dark red. Okay, say for example you don't want to play with these values, okay? So you can come here and change that to black body. This is another algorithm which is not using any color, okay? So just you control the temperature. So this is the temperature, you can control that. So you can set that to 300 in Kelvin. Of course, this temperature is in Kelvin. Now we have less temperature. You can set this one, for example, let's try 1000 and see what's happening here. Oh, wait, I set that to 100. We have no fire. Okay, as you see, you can play with this value too. Okay, but in my case, I will choose the ramp and I will set some values here. So I will set that to a little bit more red. Okay, something like that. And I will move that a little bit here and move that here. And let's hit render and see what we get. Okay, and let's see here, I will set the intensity scale for the fire back to 3, and I think I want to make the smoke a little bit thicker, and let's move that down. Let's move this by, you can delete that by holding this little icon and drag it down. So we removed that. Okay, and I will move that a little bit here and this one here. Let's move that here, and let's see if we missed something. This is the shadow. You can set that to 0, so you will have no shadow on the smoke. This one, set this one to 1. Okay. Okay, so another thing we need to do, as you know, the fire emits light, right? But our fire does not emit light until now. So let's create a light now. So I will go to object. So I will select the pyro because this is our cache. Okay, so I will select the cache, and here you will see we have volume light. This will allow your fire to emit light in the scene. So let's go to the scene view for safety and let's select that, and let's click on volume light. Okay, so as you see now I have a volume light. If you select that, you will see here I have the path for the pyro, which is this one. Okay, so let's select the volume light and let's go to render view and let's hit render and see if we get some lights. Okay, as you see now we get some lights. So I will select that and I will go up a little bit. Of course here you can control the light of the volume. So if you set this one to 2, now your fire will emit more light in the scene. Okay. So you have everything like the normal light. Okay. And another thing you notice here, we have a lot of noise, right? So select the volume light and increase that to 3. So you get rid of most of the noise in this area. Okay. And let's create a material for the ground and for the tire. So I will go to material palette and I will select this principal one, and let's go to material tab and let's call that tire material, and let's copy and paste that, and let's call this one ground. Okay, so I can drag and drop the ground here, so then you will understand that you drop the material here. Okay, so this will be assigned to the ground. So if I go here and select the curved ground and come to render, as you see I assign the material to the ground. Okay, another way is selecting the tire and coming to render, and here you can choose the material. I will click here and I will go to material, and then I will click and select the tire material. Okay, let's go back, and the tire material I will set that to black color, and I will set this one to 1 because I don't want to reflect, I don't want to add specular to the tire, and the roughness of course 0, and the reflectivity I prefer set that to 0.01 or leave that at 0 because in any way we don't see the tire very well. Okay, and the ground, let's go back and set dark color for the ground too, something like that, and let's hit render and see what we get. The ground is reflective, so I will select the ground. As you see it's reflective, so I will set the specular to 1 and this one to 0 and the reflectivity to 0, and let's try again and see what we get now. I think the ground is too dark, so I will select the ground and go back here, and I will make it lighter. So let's see. Okay, perfect. And let's go to the rendering tab to out, and here you will see the mantra node. This is responsible for rendering, so I will select that, and here you can increase the samples. So if you want to get rid of most of the noise, so I will set this one to 4 and this one to 4. Okay, and you can increase the volume quality here by setting this one to 2, but the render time will increase. Okay, be careful about that. And that's it for, I think that's it for the mantra node. And of course here, if you come here and click render frame range, now Houdini will render from 1 to 240. You can change that. I can right click and delete the channels and set any value I want here. Okay, and of course don't forget to select your camera. This is by default. This sets the camera 1. We already created the camera 1. Okay, and if you want to change the resolution, you click here, override camera resolution. Okay, and you set this one to user specified, and here you can click here and change any resolution you want. Okay, so, and you can click on render to disk or render to disk in the background. I prefer doing that. And let's do another thing here. So I will go to images, and here you can see you can specify the file. Okay, so in this case this is in $hip, This is in our project in the render, and the heap name you can change that, this one, but leave the $f. Don't forget to delete that. Sorry, don't delete the $f4. So you can set any name here, so for example tire. Okay, and you can go there and hit render to disk. Of course you can change the format too from here. So I did a render before, so I will show you the render. Okay, so here I am in After Effects, so I will go to File and then Import and then File, and I have the path here. Okay, so this is my render path in Houdini in Burning Wheel. Okay, so this is the tire one. I will select the one and hit import. Okay, so another thing you want to do, it's very important to right click and go to here to main and then change that to 24 because we created the effect in 24 frame, okay, per second. If you come click here, you see I have the 24 frame per second. Okay, so your time matches with this one. So I will drag and drop it here to create new composition. Okay, so now we are missing the glow because, as you know, the fire emitting some glow. Okay, so you come here and click in the effects glow and drag and drop the glow here. You can drag and drop it on this layer. Okay, and I can change the radius. I can set the threshold. Okay, and let's see the glow intensity, something like that. And the radius, I think I will change the radius a little bit more. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed, guys, and I will see you in the next lesson.